Alright, I hope the camera's on me. Hey, what's up guys? Raymaster Flex here. Today is May 23rd. I want to make it known that this video is not going to go out until about a month from now. So when you see it, it will be old. Hold on. Alright guys, I'm back. But one of the interesting things that it's been a while since I've talked about my channel. It's actually been a couple of months since I've talked about on my channel is anything regarding the WWE. There's been a lot that I've looked over. I've been keeping up with WWE, but at the same token, my channel kind of had it derailed, so I didn't really do many WWE things like that after the last one I did about when Goldberg won a Universal title. But since then, we've seen Brock Lesnar win a Universal title, which we haven't even seen him defend it yet. His first time defending it isn't even supposed to be to the balls of fire. And one of the interesting topics that this video that I'm doing right now, that's going to be on YouTube, this is going to go public a while from now, but just know that it's old, that today, as I'm speaking, is not the day that it's going on YouTube. Is one of the interesting topics I want to discuss regarding the WWE, and it's on a certain superstar who I truly believe had a massive push going his way, and that is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was injured. He suffered an injury not too long ago, about 2-3 weeks ago, when he faced Roman Reigns at Payback with his arm. Of course, in storyline, they had it where Roman Reigns took him out on the episode of Raw so that it can make it seem like Roman Reigns was like the reason behind Braun Strowman being gone for, I believe it's going to be 5 to 6 months or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. But what his injury did was it pulled him away from his success, his future feuds that he was supposed to have. Now, from what I know, Braun Strowman was supposed to face Roman Reigns again. They had already faced each other at Payback. They're supposed to face each other again. This was sort of have been the rubber match, because if we recall, they faced each other at Fastlane. Now, originally I heard that Braun Strowman was supposed to win that match, but instead they gave it to Roman Reigns. So then they faced each other again after WrestleMania, after Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker. They faced each other again at Payback, and this time Braun Strowman won. And not only did he win, but he won clean. And so they were supposed to face each other a third time, and this was going to be at Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view that's coming up now. Of course, it will be old by the time this video comes up, but they're supposed to face each other again a third time, and this was supposed to be an ambulance match. Now, as to whether Braun was going to win again, I have no clue. I think it would have been a smart idea to have him win a second time. That way, it would have been a 1-2 advantage where Braun would have basically just won the feud between the two, because it would have had a good setup towards him going to the Balls of Fire's pay-per-view, because Braun Strowman was the favorite and he was booked to face Brock Lesnar at the Balls of Fire pay-per-view after Extreme Rules. And I'm going to be honest, I think that Braun Strowman, if it hadn't been for his injury, he would have been the perfect pick to face Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire. That's actually a match that I've wanted to see for a long time. The closest we've ever got to see that was at the Royal Rumble when Brock Lesnar took out all of the Wyatt family members at last year's Royal Rumble, and one of the people he eliminated was Braun Strowman. But we've never actually seen these two guys in a one-on-one match. And currently what we got going on here is a fatal five-way match to determine who's going to face Brock Lesnar at that pay-per-view, the Balls of Fire. You got Samoa Joe, you got Seth Rollins, you got Roman Reigns, you got Finn Balor, and you got, I think I'm missing someone, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt. And honestly, I'm just going to be honest here, I don't think that any of these picks, first of all, as far as me thinking who's going to end up winning, now of course, by the time this video goes out, it'll be old, but as far as me thinking who they're going to give it to, I somehow think that they're going to either give it to Roman Reigns or Finn Balor, and that's only because I can't see Finn Balor just straight up losing his first pay-per-view of this year, just out the blue like that, because at Payback, he didn't wrestle at the pay-per-view. He was at the pay-per-view, he didn't wrestle, and I can't really see them giving Roman Reigns a second loss on the pay-per-view, but at the same token, you know, we kind of know what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now. They're building him up to have that match. We all know that they're basically building Roman Reigns up to face Brock Lesnar at next year's WrestleMania for the Universal title. I don't know why they're building up that way, but that's what they choose to do. That's typical WWE booking for you. But if there was anybody who I would actually have wanted to face Brock Lesnar at the Balls of Fire, I think that those two guys are definitely not what I want to see as of right now. I would have loved to see Braun Strowman do it, and it's a shame that his injury took him away for it, because he had so much big stuff coming for him. Now, I don't believe that they would have had Braun Strowman beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, but I think he would have been the only person to really put Brock Lesnar to the limit, because we've already seen how it is when Roman faced Brock. We've already seen that. We've seen that at WrestleMania 31. We've seen how that can turn out, basically in more so the favor of Brock. And I definitely don't think, and I'm not saying that they can't put on a good match, but I mean, let's be for real. We all know they're not going to give it to Samoa Joe. We all know they're not going to give Samoa Joe the opportunity to face Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire after Extreme Rules. We all know Samoa Joe's not going to win, because they're probably going to continue his feud with Seth Rollins. We all know they're not going to give it to Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins, you know, he's already had his time also where he faced Brock Lesnar. And right now, I don't know exactly where they're going with Seth Rollins, but I don't really think they're trying to just right away put him in the title picture. So they're not doing it for him. And I certainly, like I said, I can either see even them giving it to Roman or Vin, but either way, I don't think the match would map out as good as seeing Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. And that's actually what I wanted to see. So basically, this video, me, is explaining my thoughts on Braun Strowman's injury. I think it was a very big misfortune that Braun Strowman got injured at the time he got injured, at the time where he was actually going to be pushed at a high status. You know, when I first saw Braun Strowman, I didn't really have a big high thought on him when he first burst on the scene. He was just like one of those backup guys that followed Bray Wyatt that just randomly popped up on an episode of Raw the night after SummerSlam in 2015. And he didn't really make his mark until he split away from the Wise. It's not to say that he wasn't good when he was with the Wise, but I think once they split him away, and of course a lot of his matches at the beginning were with a bunch of jobbers last year when they had the brand split. But when they split him away, when they broke him away from the Wise by putting him on Raw and putting him on SmackDown Live, and even though they got Bray Wyatt also on Raw currently, the fact that he was wrestling single by himself, I think this was really the chance that they gave Braun Strowman to shine. And from then on, he proved that he could be a main event star. And it's not because he beat Roman Reigns clean at Payback of why I say that. I was already seeing this in Braun Strowman long before then, just by how he was being billed and how he was being booked even last year, even when he faced Kevin Owens for the Universal title in an episode of Raw. And the only reason why he lost was because of interference by Roman Reigns, because the feud between the two was still going on. So I've always seen some type of potential in Braun Strowman for a while now, and I've actually grown to like his character because, I mean, they call him the Monster Mom Man, and I actually think that he will eventually be a future either WWE champion or Universal champion, depending on if they keep him on Raw, they switch him to SmackDown. I think he'd be a future champion. I could definitely see him in the main event status. I think it would be well deserved if he was put in the main event status. I don't think it would just be something they would just give to him. It would be like well deserved at the time they do it. And he's actually one of the top heels right now that was on the Raw roster, you know, other than guys like Samoa Joe and all them. And I really do think that it's just a misfortune that his injury happened now at the time where they're actually was building him all the way up until facing Brock Lesnar. I'm going to be honest, I think they probably would have, but I don't know because WWE can be funny. I think they would have had him defeat Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules only because it would have made sense making him a contender against Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire. Because you think about it, why would they have him lose to Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules and then automatically put him as a contender against Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire? That would make no sense because now that would start an argument where Roman Reigns, they would have had him come out saying, you know, I beat The Undertaker, it's my yard now, as he keeps saying now. And then he'll say something like, well, I also beat Braun Strowman, so I'm the one that deserves to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Like I said, we already know what they're doing. We already know they're trying to build these guys up to face each other at WrestleMania 34. Why are they doing that? I have no idea. Between either that time or doing at SummerSlam, we know that Lesnar and Roman are going to collide at some point. So that's where the question comes in. You know, the timing was just so off for Braun Strowman to get injured. Because I honestly think that either Ben Balor or Roman Reigns are the favorites to win at this Fatal 5-Way match, only because since they don't have Braun Strowman currently, then they might just immediately go to Roman Reigns at Balls of Fire, only because they feel like, well, basically, they don't feel nobody else is worthy currently to face Brock Lesnar. And now that I think more about it, I think they probably most likely will give the win to Roman Reigns more than all of them. And I only say that because if you look at how the feuds are going currently, again, this video is going to be old when it goes out, but if you look at how the feuds are going, basically, Samoa Joe has some unfinished business with Seth Rollins. On the other side of it, they're kind of starting this new feud between Bray Wyatt and Ben Balor, and I think that would have something to do with preventing Ben Balor from winning because they're going to probably start a feud between those two immediately after Extreme Rules. It kind of already started because Bray Wyatt was the reason of why Ben Balor was unable to win the triple threat match to determine who would face Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. He's the reason why he lost because Bray Wyatt interfered in the match. So I think they're going to go further with that storyline. And they're going to go further with the Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins storyline, even though I have no idea when they're going to put it into that. And so that will really only leave Roman Reigns as the only person who's not currently feuding with anybody in the whole mixture of all 5 people in the match. So basically, I would not be surprised at all in Like I said, by the time this video comes out, the results will already be in. But I would not be surprised if Roman Reigns ends up winning that match and goes on the Balls of Fire pay-per-view to face Brock Lesnar early because they don't feel as though nobody else has the opportunity to do it. Or not only that, but if they were to throw a curveball, have Finn Balor win, but then midway through the match, Bray Wyatt interferes, causes in the match, and that sets up those two against each other at SummerSlam or something like that. I mean, either way, I could see them doing something crazy. But like I said, Braun Strowman's injury just happened to come at the worst time. I was actually pulling for Braun Strowman. I was actually hoping that he would face Brock Lesnar because he's actually the only person I think that could actually put Brock Lesnar to the limit. We've seen a couple of guys do it over the years, but really, as it pertains to the new talent, I think he would have been the only guy to really put Brock Lesnar to the limit. I don't think, now knowing WWE, they can be funny, but I don't think it would have been one of those matches where would have been a whole bunch of suplexes the whole time. I think it would have actually been an equal match because of how Braun Strowman is and how he's actually improved in his in-ring skills. Because one thing I will say is that even though a lot of people hate on Roman Reigns, his matches with Roman Reigns proved that because he started to use a lot more moves that we didn't see him using in previous matches. So the Roman Reigns feud really helped Braun Strowman build himself even more just from that. He was already building before then, but once he started feuding with Roman Reigns, that helped him build even more, and it became something really special. And what would have really boosted his momentum is if they had him win the Andre the Giant Memorial, which is what a lot of people say, but me personally, I think that would have been the smartest move to make just for Braun Strowman himself, so that way his rise to stardom would have really went out there and captivated and just basically spread the way out of everybody. Like everybody would have been like surprised. Like everybody would have been like surprised, but also pleased that they gave it to Braun Strowman. But instead, they gave it to Mojo Rawley. And the reason why I have a problem with that is because basically they gave it to him, and we don't even see them doing anything with Mojo Rawley after that. I mean, they just had him win the Andre Giant Memorial, and you don't even see him on SmackDown Live. Like, what's going on with him? He was on Raw at first, then they put him on SmackDown Live, and I only literally seen him like one time or two, maybe only one. That was that time where they had the number one contender spot, and that was it. So, I mean, what's the purpose of having him win? The purpose, from what I thought was the purpose of having someone win the Andre Giant Memorial was to actually like set the bar and put their career on a high note. I mean, they had Baron Corbin win it last year, and that was a good pick because no one expected them to have Baron Corbin. So Braun Strowman would have definitely been the biggest pick this year to do it. So like I said before, Braun Strowman injury was just so misfortunate because it happened at the wrong time. It happened at the wrong time. It was actually pretty insane. But I think had his injury not happened, it would have been more boosting his momentum. And that's what I really wanted to see out of Braun Strowman. It's a shame that, Braun Strowman's injury with his arm, because something with his arm took him away from doing what he actually could have been very successful at. I think Braun Strowman would have had a lot of praise had he faced Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire. And like I said before, no disrespect to anybody in the Fatal 5-Way match, but if there was anyone currently who I would have wanted to see against Brock Lesnar, especially at Balls of Fire, not to say, because they also have to find him an opponent for SummerSlam, which if it were to be someone curveball through at Balls of Fire, then we already know that if they don't have Roman Reigns at Balls of Fire, then they'll most likely have him at SummerSlam. It's either going to be one of the two. But if there was anyone who I would have wanted to actually see and go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, it would have been Braun Strowman. Only because these guys have never had a singles match against each other. That has yet to happen. Them two have never had a singles match. I mean, he's never had a single match with Finn Balor or Samoa Joe either, but we all know that Samoa Joe, that's just not going to happen. I mean, that's basically like two heels facing each other, and I wouldn't see them doing Bray Wyatt either, because I'd be pretty shocked. That would also be a shocker as well if they had Bray Wyatt win. But like I said, it's the feuding stuff that's going on that I believe that most likely will end up having Roman win anyways. But then that would mean they would have to find somebody also for in the face of SummerSlam, because Brock Lesnar, he's the guy that wants money. He wants the big money, so he only shows up when there's like major pay-per-views. So it's even a surprise that he's going to be fighting at Balls of Fire, because that's not even a big pay-per-view. But from what I heard, don't know all the truth of this, he's supposed to defend his title at Balls of Fire, and he's also supposed to defend it at SummerSlam. I don't know if he's going to defend it any other time other than those two times, which basically would have meant that he would have only defended his titles twice on pay-per-view, and his title twice on pay-per-view. And as far as live events, I don't really know, because I don't always keep up with his live events. Well, I have not seen any video, because I always get wrestling notifications. I keep up with WWE 24/7. I haven't seen like any videos that actually show him at a live event. So as far as I know, I don't see him defending at live events either. So I have no idea when the next time he would defend his title after SummerSlam. But basically, like I was saying, you know, Braun Strowman's injury took him away from having a lot of momentum. I think Braun Strowman, he was my favorite. He was the favorite to face Brock Lesnar. He actually, it would have been well deserved. It would have been a massive push forward. He wins at Extreme Rules, end the feud between him and Roman finally. Face Brock Lesnar at Balls of Fire. Have a clean match, like not one of those matches where it's going well and then someone interferes and messes up. I'm like, no, it could have been one of those matches that just would have went straight forward, and either Brock just wins clean or Braun wins clean. I mean, if Braun were to beat Brock, that would have been a major, major surprise. Everybody would have been shocked, because that would have been a shocking moment. There already is a shocking moment that I'm probably going to put in another video, because that's not what this video is about, that took place in WWE. But it would have been a shocking moment. And like I said, I think Braun Strowman, I hope he heals. I hope he recovers. Now, originally I heard he wasn't going to be out that long, only for a couple of weeks, and that he would be around before the Balls of Fire, or at least by the time that pay-per-view hits. But it's still misfortune that his injury happened at the time that it happened, because it took him away from so much that he could have done. It took him away from the success that he could have had if he wasn't injured. Like, he would have actually went on to face Lesnar at Balls of Fire, and now they got to do this fatal 5-way match for it, which would have never even happened had he not been injured. What they probably would have done was immediately went for the separate matches. They would have had the rubber match. Well, not so much of a rubber match, but they would have had the secondary match between Seth and Samoa Joe. They would have had Finn Balor go right into feuding with Bray Wyatt. I mean, they singly, those two square off. They would have had those matches. Then at the main event, Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. I also would have been interested to see how the build-up with this match would have been, how they would have built it up. I would have been interested to see how the promo between the two would have went. I mean, we all know Brock Lesnar doesn't really talk that much on the mic. It's all Paul Heyman that does the talking. I would have been interested to see how the actual build-up would have been. I would have been interested to see how good of a build-up this match is going to have, because I would have been really interested to see how it was going to turn out between Lesnar and Braun Strowman. And like I said before, if there's anybody who I believe was well-deserved to face Brock Lesnar, it was definitely going to be Braun Strowman, without question. I think Braun Strowman deserved it the most. So, and he would have gotten it had his injury not came at the time it came, where he suffered something with his arm, elbow, whatever, at Payback against Roman Reigns. And a lot of people were upset over that, because they were like, Roman Reigns was having a fake injury while Braun Strowman was actually going through a real injury. But I'm not even gonna go through that because I'm not gonna do that. But you know, so I've been keeping up with WWE without question. It's not over. It's just my channel is a mixture of everything, so that's why it's not a specific thing that I stay on. It's always wrestling is the number one thing. That's always gonna be the number one thing. But I also do hangout videos. I also do random videos, and I also do singing videos from time to time. That's what my channel is based upon. All these different things. So that's why you see so many different things on my channel, because it's not just one thing. But wrestling is one of the most important things I stay on. This is my first time doing a wrestling video since about February, I believe. It's been a long time because of school and personal reason, all that kind of stuff. So, like I said before, today is May 23rd. It's a Tuesday. This video is not gonna go up right now. It will be going up about a month or so from now, or when I put it up. I want everybody to know that it is old. I will put that as clear as stone before this video even starts, the date and all of that, so everybody knows that it did not just happen when it's posted, when it goes public. I really do hope everybody watches this video, because I am trying my hardest to gain subscribers and gain viewership and gain likes and all that kind of stuff. I don't do these videos for nothing. I don't make these long videos for nothing, especially my wrestling videos. Those are the most important ones. I want some viewership and some likes and comments in, because I work my hardest for these videos, and it's like my viewership still be low. And I hope that this video, when it is out there, that it is big viewership, is big subscribers and all that, because my thoughts on Braun Strowman's injury, it's a lot of thoughts I have about it. I do believe that Braun Strowman, I know someone else, probably other people, would have made this video long before me. It's not surprising. It always happens. They get more viewership, but I do believe Braun Strowman would have definitely had some kind of success had he not been injured. At the time he got injured, it was just very misfortunate that he got injured. At the time he got injured, and it's very sad. But I think when he comes back, hopefully they can find something to do with him. Hopefully they don't have him back in a low status. Not to say he would not be successful as a mid-carder, because I can actually see him, if they don't give him the Universal title no time soon, I can at least see him being Intercontinental Champion a couple of times or something like that, to actually have some kind of title in his career. Because I do believe, same way as it took Bray Wyatt this long just to have a title in his career, it took him until last year and again this year to really have a title on him. Braun Strowman, I do believe that he needs some type of title on him before the end of this year hits. Last year is kind of understandable why, but you can't have this man building all this momentum and then he just doesn't win anything. So, I would have loved to see him square off toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. That actually was my favorite. That was actually kind of a dream match for me to want to see those two square off. Would have loved to see it. It's misfortunate that it can't happen, but the hope is that whoever Brock Lesnar does face the Balls of Fire, which we all know he's going to win the match, that match is successful. So I'm going to wrap it up like this. So, signing off is Raymaster Flex. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Whoever watched it or whatever, hope it gets a lot of viewership and all those kinds of things. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Remember, it's not going up now, but it'll be up when I put it up. It's May 23rd. That's not the date it's going to be up. I'm not the first YouTuber to do that, to be posting stuff that's old, but I'm actually letting you know what date it is, so that when it comes up, you don't be saying, well, this is old news, he's back now. Because if he happens to come back by the time this video goes up, I don't even know if I'll post it, but I'm going to make sure I post it at least, or when I know for sure that he won't be back. So I'm going to end off like that, end off like this, Raymaster Flex. Like, comment, subscribe.